Well, that turned out to be a thing, right? Let's talk about Super Episode 124 coming up very, very soon, continuing this arc. And unfortunately, based on, well, I don't know if it's really unfortunate or fortunate, but based on this next episode preview and what we've heard from the information that's come out, the summaries from Weekly Shonen Jump and other magazines, this next episode is not going to be focusing primarily on the Goku Vegeta Jiren storyline, which I do feel right now is the most interesting fight in all of Super. Instead, they're going to take a side turn and focus more on some of the other fights coming up, which is too bad, and I thought kind of weird that 123 ended with that great cliffhanger, and we're not going to even get the follow-up to that. I mean, we will get the follow-up, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to ignore the entire thing, but the majority of the episode, from what we understand, who really knows what's really being planned here, is going to focus on the other fights. So let's go ahead and break down the Super 124 next episode preview. We're going to go shot by shot, and I will give you my analysis and prediction. And as always, feel free to give me yours down below. Here we have the first shot, Vegeta, Freeza blocking Dyspo's shots. You can tell that's Dyspo's legs because he has the skinniest legs of anybody left in the Pride Troopers. And Freeza is, well, having a tough time with Dyspo, it seems. In the last episode, it sort of seemed like Freeza wasn't really sweating him, but I think that Dyspo might have a little bit more power than we think. And we still have not seen Golden Freeza yet, so it's going to be interesting to see where that goes, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Love that shot there of Dyspo ready to blast Freeza. As our fight, now it looks like he's about to, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it says here, as our fight with Jiren heats up, he shoots a disc, which I think is pretty cool. You know, Gohan's being run down by Dyspo and his super high speed mode is in trouble. So Dyspo's going to crank it up and go to high speed. And as you saw right there, he shot what looked like to be like a blue ring. I'm curious if that move is going to be sort of like what Gotenks could do, where he can surround you with the ring and kind of tie you up, or if that's just like a disc type maneuver. I'm not really sure, but that's a pretty cool looking move. And then here on the screen, even though Goku is talking about Gohan and Dyspo and all them, on the screen we have, as you can see right there, back here we have Jiren, and then below this we have Goku and Vegeta. Goku, of course, in Kaioken, Vegeta in this upgraded version of Blue, which as of right now does not have a name. If we get a name for this form, I will of course do a video about it. If you remember, the transformation that Trunks did in the Future Trunks arc, Super Saiyajin Ikari, which translates into Super Saiyan Rage or Super Saiyan Anger, you know, that we didn't even get the name of that move until months later. So, I mean, or the name of that form until months later, until Heroes, I think it was. Maybe not months, maybe it was weeks, but still, it was a little while later, Heroes revealed the name. So it could be possible that we're not going to get the name of this technique or the name of this transformation until later, but once we do get it, I'll definitely do a video breaking it down. Jiren, what it looks like is going on here is like Jiren is doing long range attacks here, probably trying to keep Vegeta and Goku far away from him, because based on the little tiny bit of fighting that we saw in 123, it looks like if Vegeta and Goku are going to be using close range attacks on Jiren, they may be doing better than if they do long range. And I've noticed that pattern with Jiren's fighting here, that Jiren appears to be a guy who prefers more loose mid to long range combat. Now maybe I'm overthinking this because it's Dragon Ball and I love the martial arts and I love watching MMA and studying martial arts, and I'm sure many of you do too, and overall combat. But it really does seem like Jiren is more comfortable with mid to long range. It seems like whenever you get close to him, whenever you give him a flurry of attacks, punches, and kicks, he seems to have more trouble. We've seen this not just in episode 122 and in 123. We've seen this all the way back in 110 when Goku was really, you know, hammering him. With 109, Goku was doing like Super Saiyan God Red and, you know, weaker stuff that couldn't do anything. But I think with this level of power, maybe, you know, pitter-pattering him, so to speak, is the way to win. I mean, it could be. You know, it very well could be. We're going to find out. Well, maybe we'll find out. We could see that. We'll see. Great shot there of Goku in Kaioken coming in. Classic shot right here. There was a lot of banked animation in episode 123, and it looks like with 124, which is this episode coming up, there might be a little bit more. I don't mind it too much, but it is something that I think we see way too much of, and I think that nowadays, because most of us have better, I would say more trained eyes than we did when we were younger, it's easier to spot stuff like that. But you could spot it in DBZ as well. Now, here we have Golden Frieza. Frieza does indeed use Golden, so Dyspo's speed and power is going to be enough to push Frieza into Golden Frieza. And it looks like he's just firing a barrage of death beams, and Gohan's firing ki blasts. So my suspicions here, my prediction, is that Dyspo is going to be using his speed to try to confuse Gohan and Frieza, and that Gohan and Frieza, once again, long-range attacks. They're going to be trying to attack him long-range with ki blasts, because it's almost like if they get too close to him, he's just going to do something so quick they won't be able to see it. So it's best to kind of stand back, and kind of do more of a perimeter type of attack. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's still fun to talk about, in my opinion. Frieza joins in with his mysterious laugh, and Gohan's strategy against Dyspo begins. That's weird that Goku calls it the mysterious laugh, but here we see Dyspo with a kind of a goofy face there and a weird purple aura, which I'm guessing that purple aura represents Dyspo just cranking it up to probably his maximum speed. The story here is going to be, are Gohan and Frieza fast enough to keep up with Dyspo? I think strength-wise, Golden Frieza, true Golden Frieza, should be able to wipe out Dyspo quickly, but remember, you can't hurt something you can't hit, and that's the problem. And see, there he is again. And notice how, I do like this very much, how when he's moving, you see sort of the shadow fade behind him. I really am enjoying the way this is looking. And one thing I do want to clarify is, even though this is purple aura, this is not Hakai energy. This is not God Ki or God of Destruction energy. It's just the color that Dyspo has. Dragon Ball characters have all kinds of different colors when it comes to their ki. I know some folks are putting the connection together. This is going to be God Ki. It's not. It is not. It's just Dyspo's move. Don't ever. It's fun to analyze, but I would not overthink things to that degree. Even though he does look like Beerus and Champa. I mean, he does look like somebody. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that Dyspo was somehow related to them, or he was a distant cousin, or maybe a former god of destruction. That would not surprise me, but I don't think that's the case. And until we know for sure, it's best not to assume. But I can see why people get confused. That's not what this is, though. I like that, because there you see Frieza shooting death beams with all 10 fingers, and that's going to be fun to watch when we actually get to see it. Now, one thing I want to analyze here is, if you notice, because this is interesting, Frieza is firing. Let's go back. Okay, I like that. That's a shot of Jiren heating up. Sorry, I went a little too far back. My apologies. Yeah, I know that. All right. Yeah. Let me turn this. No, actually, all right, see that? Okay. So Frieza shoots the 10 death beams at the ground. I think what they're going to do is similar to what Goku did to Jiren in 123. I think Gohan is going to go for a more horizontal, central attack, trying to, connect on Dyspo with physical shots face to face, whereas Frieza is going to try to take the ground out from under him, because if there's no ground, he can't move. Or possibly he's going to create a bunch of holes in the ground so that Dyspo can't be as fast, because if there are holes in the ground and you're running, you have to look for the holes, and thus it breaks your concentration, because otherwise you're going to trip and, twist your ankle or something. So they could be doing something there where Frieza's actively coming up with a strategy to slow Dyspo down. And honestly, that makes the most sense. But it could be something else too. There's Gohan just swinging, trying to get at Dyspo, and Goku says, "Gohan, Frieza, show him your strength." There was a shot to the gut right there. There was that block. And then here we see the ki blast around him. So, again, clearly it's Gohan and Frieza working together. Gohan preferring to take a short-range kind of attack, and Frieza going long range. I don't know if the ground thing that I mentioned is going to happen or not, but without question, what is going to happen is Gohan and Frieza are going to team up against Jiren. And let me know, against Topo. Why do I keep making that mistake? And please let me know in the comments how you feel about that and what you think is going to happen here. Gohan, Frieza, show him your strength, of course. Next, Dragon Ball Super. There's a great shot of Frieza. The fiercely overwhelming assault, Gohan's last stand. I do not think that Gohan's getting eliminated. I don't think that's what this means. I think some people think it is. I don't think Topo or Dyspo's going to throw Gohan out, even though it could be. I don't know. So I'm going to leave a poll in the upper right-hand corner of this video. Let me know. I want y'all to vote in the cards. Is Gohan eliminated in episode 124? Is this going to be Gohan's elimination? Yes or no? Let me know in the upper right. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Because I know that has the last stand. Like, that's a cool name, but it does not mean that it's Gohan's last episode. It just means that Gohan's going to take a stand against what could be his elimination. He may or may not get thrown out. Hell, for all we know, Dyspo might be the one getting thrown out. There's Gohan again. Coming at, that looks like Beerus, but it's Dyspo. That's a very, very similar eye to Beerus, you know what I mean? There might be a connection there that we're not seeing, but let me know what you think in the comments. Is Gohan getting tossed out? If you vote yes, let me know why or how. If you think it'll be Dyspo or Topo that gets him, I don't think he is, but let me know what you think, and let me know what your thoughts are on episode 124 Super coming up in just a few days down below in the comments. Thank y'all. Have a great day, and oh, one more thing. Tomorrow on the channel, more in-depth deconstructions of Vegeta. If you enjoy the last ones, you'll enjoy this one. I'll talk to you then.